ready on this one. I might again turn you down just a tiny bit because
Okay.
Okay, great, lovely. Ready whenever you are.
Welcome back to this short video series, Transgender Disciple. And I guess a lot of people are wondering why I chose the name Transgender Disciple, because it suggests two worlds that really a lot of people think cannot meet, shouldn't meet. I chose the word Transgender Disciple as a deliberate, provocative hook to try and attract the church and to try and attract my transgender community. The very word disciple conjures up lots of different images for lots of different people. To those outside the church, it kind of smacks of religious fanaticism, mindless devotion, and religion. And for those inside the church, for a lot of people inside the church, it actually can be a very negative word. A lot of people have got burnt by the controlling spirits of religion, and they've been burnt through discipleship. And so for them, it's become a negative. But what I want to try and do is show for me what has been the beauty of discipleship. I first met Jesus when I was lying in a gutter, dying in Old Delhi in India from starvation and opium addiction. Was it a hallucination? I don't know. But 40 years on, I'm still following him, and I've seen some incredible things. The word Christian for me was not a word that I wanted to own. It wasn't a label that I wanted to be called by, because I'd seen that Christianity had created the Crusades and Inquisitions. It had created a theology which justified slavery, segregation and apartheid. And for 2,000 years, Christianity has oppressed and subjugated women. And so I never really wanted to be a part of it. When I heard Jesus say, "Come follow me," I saw three groups of people. I saw the religious people who wanted Jesus dead. I saw the huge crowds that followed him. But I also saw this small group of individuals that Jesus called to himself, the disciples. That is what I wanted, just to be close to Jesus. I think I've been cycling, training, racing, riding bikes for 50 years. In fact, I call cycling my religion, really. 40 years I've been coaching, encouraging, loving people into the sport, helping them to get started and watching them develop. And it's just something I love doing. I've also practiced yoga and Buddhism, but done that on my own, and I've discovered just how hard it is to do things on your own. As a kid, I raced to top national level, but it was hard because I didn't have a coach. I had no one really alongside me or encouraging me. And yet cycling it's a sport of mutual encouragement. You know, we look after each other on the road. We've got each other's best interests at heart and each other's safety. We look after each other. So, you know, what I've seen over 50 years is that cycling really is a fraternity, it is a fellowship, and it's discipleship in all but name. I was never interested in religion and never wanted religion, but I was thirsty for a spiritual life. And I guess that's for me is what it's about. I long to reclaim discipleship and disciple from the ruins and the rubble of post-Trump, post-patriarchal, hierarchical, dictating, controlling religion. Because at heart, discipleship's something beautiful. It's a friendship, it's a relationship that transforms. And it's all about Jesus just calling us to follow him and to enjoy him. And, you know, for many of us, it was never about religion, it's about a relationship with Christ. and we encounter him. It's never about 2,000 years of religion and tradition. The synergy that two people can create walking together, 2 or 3 people, when they walk in step, when they walk in tune, when they walk in harmony, when there's real love and trust and faith in that relationship. The power to change us is incredible. And it's not even about age or experience, certainly not about hierarchy or rank. It doesn't matter whether we're young or old. It's the Holy Spirit working in us, and that's what brings the transformation. There's a mutual submission to each other, because at heart we all need the same thing. We all need love, we all need encouragement, we all need challenge. If anybody knows about ruins, I do, from the ruins of addiction 40 years ago. And for most of this 40 years, I've worked with homeless people, people recovering from addiction, even with prostitutes. And I've worked with a lot of people coming out of homelessness and addiction on the building site. And there you really see what discipleship is about. So you share your lives with each other. Deep, deep friendships. And when I started out on this life of following Jesus, I understood it. He said, make disciples. But I've realised I was never making disciples. They were making me. What they shared with me has been some of the richest experiences of my life. And in them, I've actually seen and met Jesus. They've shown me Jesus. They've shown me through their lives transformed what it's all about, where the rubber hits the road. You know, you can preach grace from a pulpit and still not understand it. When you rub shoulders, when you share your broken lives together, that's the holy place, that's the sacred ground, and that's where we encounter God. If the church doesn't understand us as transgender, then I certainly don't expect the transgender community to understand discipleship, particularly when so many transgender people have been turned away from church because of discipleship. What I'm trying to do here is to create a safe space, a conversation, a dialogue where reconciliation and healing can begin. And there are some really deep wounds to be healed. For me, discipleship is just another name for loving friendships that are powerfully and gently transformative. I've seen in that context lives struggling to survive, the bitterness of survival transformed into lives of mutual flourishing. And at the heart of it all, I see and find Jesus. Well, I've talked a bit about transgender, I've talked a bit about myself, I've talked a bit about disciples. Next week I want to introduce my book, so I hope you'll come back and listen and watch. And I really want to say thank you for bearing with me. Loads of love.